Hey guys, this is Parker S. Going to be doing a quick tutorial on setting up your nodes as gateway nodes. This is something you can do if you have a public IP block from your ISP, whether that is in a data center or at home. In my use case, I'm at home. It's pretty rare that you can get large public IP blocks. I could speak for in the United States. If you have AT&T, you can definitely do some really cool stuff. But today we're going to be setting up three nodes, or three nodes. Mainnet node, a DevNet node, and a testnet node. These nodes on my network are going to be kind of where I keep running to make sure that I have a good endpoint on all three nets at all times, no matter what I'm doing with my other nodes. So, with that being said, the first thing we're going to do is configure a domain for Vert3 here. I use GoDaddy to configure my domain names. I don't get paid by them or anything, but it is super simple. So if you're looking for somewhere to get domains, it's pretty easy. So we're going to add vert3, and it will automatically add the tfcloud.us. We're going to add vert3's IP, and we're going to add that record. The next record you're going to need is an NS record. These are kind of, the way they work is when you get a deployment that uses a domain, this is used in the process of getting that domain to the domain servers so that they know where to direct it. I really can't explain it very much further than that, but this is how you add it. So we're going to add that, and then over here we're just going to redirect that directly back to the vert3.tfcloud.us domain, which ultimately terminates it back at the IP address of the server because everything that it needs is actually all in one place, but this is how it interfaces with the modern internet. Now we're going to need to add a CNAME. What this does is when you get a workload deployed that has a domain, it's going to be a subdomain of your domain that's assigned to the gateway node. So we're going to do the asterisk there to be a wildcard. And then we're going to do vert3.tfcloud.us. And that just means that anything typed before that with a dot will redirect ultimately to vert3.tfcloud.us. And we do that so that, again, the modern internet can interface with the way the three nodes work, because all of those domains are truly located at one IP and they're separated within the node. But this is how they find them. Whoops, yep. Just like I said earlier, you don't have to add the tfcloud.us, but, habits. Okay, so that domain is actually fully set up now. So you can see here we've got A records for our verts that we're going to be adding. We've got NS records. And then we've got our CNAMEs. Whoops, we are missing a CNAME. So we're going to add a CNAME for vert2. And redirect that to vert2. Okay, now those are all the required records. You'll see that I have quadruple A records, which are your IPv6 version of A records. It's good practice to add them. We'll go ahead and add those here for all three. Vert1. And that's going to be the IPv6 you've chosen to add to your node in its public configuration. We're about to do that next though. But I've predetermined these IP addresses, so we can go ahead and add them now. Make sure that's the right one. Yep. All right, so we actually configured 4 DNS records, A, quadruple A's, your NS records, and your CNAMEs, all for those IP addresses there, and then the same IP addresses over here. And then you'll see our NS records and our A records. So that means our domains are set up for those IP addresses. So now we need to make our 3 nodes know that those should be their public IP addresses. So we're going to come over, we are going to start on mainnet, or I'm sorry, we'll start on testnet. So we'll come in here, we'll go over to farms. And you will see we've got node 223 here. That's going to be this guy. So we'll come over here and we're going to go ahead and click add a public config on him. Now I've got these laid out here. So this is going to be the IPv4 address of your node from your public block that you've predetermined, your gateway of your public block, your IPv6 address, oops, and then your IPv6 gateway. Now this is on testnet, so it's going to be vert2.tfcloud.us. So we'll copy that in here. Now you'll see, we'll watch this node over here in the top right corner. And when we save this, after I authenticate, remember that. You'll see it adding the public IP address over there. Alright, so that's how you add that. I think I had an issue with possibly my IPv6 address there. We'll see what happens and see if that updates. But we'll move over and go on to the next net. So I'm going to go over to the main net. Get logged in, go to farms. So we'll come down here, we'll see node 4527, which is in the top left corner of my screen. We're going to go ahead and configure him. Typically your IPv6 address would have showed up on testnet. I think I have an error in the way I configured these addresses though, but the steps still apply. Actually, I see the issue right now. I copied in a gateway missing one of those. I think you will all find that you will experience a lot of that when you set this up. Lots of mistakes. So be ready for it. It's not your fault. Okay, so now we'll watch 4527, which is in the top left corner. Hopefully we'll get a good return on our IPv6 config this time. And you'll notice your YGG Drazzle address changed to a 6.4 address. That's because it is now publicly accessible as well on the YGG network, or the Yggdrasil. Yep, boom. So now you'll see 4527 has been configured as a gateway node. We'll come back over here and fix that IPv6 here in a bit. Let's go over to dashboard and go to the DevNet. Yeah, log in. So this will be our final configuration. We're going to configure node 50 here. By the way, if you happen to live in Egypt and you're the individual that keeps adding nodes to my DevNet farm, I'd have your DevNet nodes. I've posted about it a couple times. You don't seem to have noticed. All right, and then we'll copy that gateway in. And we'll save that. Quick check. All right, that's going to be node 50, middle node here. And we'll save that, submit, sign the transaction. And you'll see here, we now have a public config over there. Now let's go back to dashboard on the testnet and see if we can go ahead and fix that gateway so that we have IPv6 on all 3 nodes. So yeah, so you can see here, it unfortunately accepted a incorrect format. So we'll save that, update it. And then hopefully here in a second, we should see in the top right corner of the screen, an IPv6 address add in. There you go. So yeah, so we've now configured a 3-node structure in a virtual environment across mainnet, testnet, and devnet with their public gateway configurations, including domains, so that they can function. I do plan to do a quick video in the future on why you should do this and what it's doing and how it's helping the network grow. With that being said, there's going to be another video to follow about adding IP addresses to your farm, which is super basic. But yeah, I will talk to you guys next time.